The U.S. has just announced it's sending 600 paratroopers to Poland for military exercises. And at the same time, the U.S. Vice President Joe Biden has been visiting Kiev. Biden pledged more U.S. support for Ukraine and called on Russia to pull back its forces from the border and inside Ukraine.
No nation should stoke instability in its neighbor's country. We call on Russia to stop supporting men hiding behind masks in unmarked uniforms, sowing unrest in eastern Ukraine.
Biden also called on Moscow to encourage pro-Russian protesters to follow the international deal brokered last week. Now that requires that they lay down their arms and get out of seized government buildings. In exchange, the pro-Russian militias will be granted amnesty and their grievances will be addressed politically. While he talked about the unrest in eastern Ukraine, the American vice president did not visit the region on this trip. Many there say they identify more with Russian interests and they have mixed views on U.S. involvement in the conflict. CCTV's Roee Ruttenberg has more from the city of Kharkiv.
Joe Biden promised that America would stand with a united Ukraine, but in some of the country's eastern cities, the feeling is very divided. The city of Kharkiv, or Kharkov in Russian, was once one of the biggest in the Soviet Union. Russian is still more widely spoken here than Ukrainian, and often sentiments lie to the east rather than to the west, which may explain some of the mixed reaction we had here to the vice president's visit.
I like the fact that the Americans come and help us to solve the problems in our relations with Russia. Not only America can help, but Europe too.
We can cope with our problems by ourselves. We don't really need to cooperate with the Russian Customs Union or with the European Union. If our government wouldn't be so corrupt, we could feed ourselves and move on and grow up.
I don't believe in American help because I know that America is on the brink of disaster. Not only economically, but in general.
I think we can believe in America's help, but the question is, will that help be useful for Ukraine in this situation? We need to find a compromise, not only with America and the European Union, but with the Russian Federation too, because our region and the eastern Ukraine's economy is based on relations with Russia.
A justification there perhaps for wanting to both embrace Western help without too greatly upsetting Moscow. Now that is indicative of the division felt here and what some feel is turning into a game of tug-of-war with potentially dire consequences. Roee Ruttenberg, CCTV, Kharkiv in eastern Ukraine.